Most people hit the bottom and pray for rescue. Sigma males hit the bottom and start digging. Because they know something the world doesn't. Every collapse is an invitation to evolve. Every breakdown is a blueprint waiting to be rewritten. While others panic, they plan. While most scream, they study. They don't ask, why me? They ask, what's next? Rock bottom doesn't break the Sigma, it builds him. In a world addicted to comfort, the Sigma male is forged in hardship. He's the one who doesn't just survive the fall, he extracts the gold buried beneath it. This isn't just about resilience. It's about alchemy. The Sigma male turns collapse into craft. He doesn't romanticize suffering, but he understands its power. It either consumes you or converts you. And he chooses the latter. Every scar becomes structure. Every failure becomes formation. Every rock becomes a step. Here are 10 truths about how Sigma males turn rock bottom into a launch pad. 1. He doesn't deny the fall, he owns it. You can't rebuild what you're too proud to admit is broken. The Sigma doesn't play the victim. When life collapses, he doesn't look for someone to blame. He looks in the mirror, because until you admit it's your storm, you'll never learn to navigate it. Owning the fall gives him clarity. It gives him control. And more than anything, it gives him fuel. Pride doesn't protect him. Awareness does. Most drown in denial. He swims in accountability. He doesn't sugarcoat what went wrong. He doesn't hide behind the illusion of perfection. Instead, he strips his situation bare, examining every crack, every weakness, every role he played. Why? Because the truth doesn't scare him. Lies do. Lies keep people in cycles. Truth sets the Sigma free. And once he owns the collapse, the rebuild becomes inevitable. Because a man who knows where he fell can also map where to rise. 2. He treats pain like a compass. Pain doesn't lie, it points. Every wound reveals a weakness. Every heartbreak exposes a blind spot. The Sigma doesn't medicate pain, he interrogates it. What is it trying to teach me? What part of me was too soft? Where was I asleep? He treats pain like data, and the deeper it cuts, the clearer the direction. Pain isn't a signal to stop. For him, it's a sign to go deeper. While most people retreat from discomfort, he leans into it, because that's where the gold is, the parts of himself that were never fully tested. The untrained discipline, the half-built boundaries, the quiet fears he hadn't faced yet. He extracts every lesson from it. Pain becomes his internal GPS, recalibrating him to a better version of himself. He doesn't run from pain. He runs with it. That's how he gets ahead. 3. He doesn't wait for rescue. He becomes the exit plan. No one's coming, and that's exactly why he'll make it. When things hit rock bottom, most people freeze, hoping someone will show up to save them. The Sigma doesn't have that fantasy. He builds his own ladder. Not because he wants to prove something, but because he's always known dependence is a death sentence. He turns every setback into strategy. No job, he builds a skill. No support, he builds resilience. No sympathy, he builds silence. There is no plan B because plan A is him. The Sigma knows that betting on anyone else is borrowed time. He can't afford it. His drive is internal, his discipline self-fueled. This isn't about being emotionless, it's about being independent. He learned early that self-rescue isn't selfish, it's survival. And every time he saves himself, he becomes the kind of man others can't manipulate, shake, or control. 4. He doesn't dwell, he dissects. Staring at the rubble doesn't rebuild the house. The Sigma doesn't sit in the ashes of his downfall and cry. He studies the wreckage. What collapsed first? What pattern led here? What illusion was I holding on to? Emotionally detached but not cold, he's surgical with it. He performs an autopsy on his failure. He names the mistake, tracks the timeline, and takes notes. Because next time, he's not repeating it. Reflection is different from rumination. Most people confuse the two. The Sigma separates them. He doesn't relive the trauma. He rewinds it like game tape, analyzing, learning, evolving. While others sit in regret, he's sketching blueprints. He knows the past has no value unless it helps him dominate the future. 5. He doesn't escape reality. He sharpens in it. The truth isn't meant to comfort. It's meant to cleanse. Most people numb the pain of rock bottom with distractions, addictions, entertainment, fantasy. Not the Sigma. He stares into the abyss until he can see through it. He faces the brutal facts, the failed friendships, the flaws in his character, the moments he betrayed himself, and through that confrontation he purges weakness. He doesn't run from the fire, he walks into it and comes out tempered. The Sigma doesn't need comfort, he needs clarity. And clarity doesn't come from coddling, it comes from confrontation. Every truth he faces is a toxin removed. Every lie he sheds is a weapon gained. That's why, while others are busy escaping their lives, he's out there rebuilding his. 6. He turns isolation into a furnace. Most fear being alone. He uses it to become someone unrecognizable. Rock bottom is lonely. That's where the noise dies. That's where fake friends vanish. That's where you're left with the raw material of who you really are. For the Sigma, that's not punishment, it's opportunity. He sees solitude as sacred, not something to survive, but something to soak in. He lets it burn away every distraction, every fake layer of identity, every voice that isn't his. In that stillness, something fierce emerges. He rewires his habits, rebuilds his values, refocuses his mission. There are no claps, no eyes watching, just him in the cold silence of accountability. When others feel abandoned, the Sigma feels alive. Because rock bottom doesn't just strip the world away, it sharpens your edge. 7. He upgrades his standard, not his excuses. You don't rise by getting more chances. You rise by becoming the kind of man who doesn't need them. After collapse, most people look for excuses. They point fingers, blame fate, or cling to bad timing. But Sigma males rewrite the rules. He raises the bar on himself, he tightens his circle, he upgrades his code, and he does it without broadcasting it. He learns that not everyone deserves access. Not every opportunity is worth chasing. Not every emotion deserves a reaction. He becomes selective, intentional, surgical with his choices. He stops negotiating with mediocrity both in others and himself. Excuses keep men in loops. Standards set them free. And the Sigma walks the path with a brutal clarity that leaves no room for compromise. 8. He uses every rock as a building block. There's no such thing as wasted pain if you build with it. Every insult, every betrayal, every rejection, he doesn't discard it. He repurposes it. Each failure becomes a lesson. Each heartbreak, a blueprint. Each humiliation, a brick. While others try to bury the evidence of their suffering, the Sigma displays it in his work ethic, his aura, his results. He doesn't wear wounds as wounds, he wears them as armor. Toughened skin, sharper instincts, a sixth sense for bullshit. You thought he was knocked out. He was laying a foundation. The Sigma's pain doesn't vanish. It transforms into systems, into goals, into vision. He doesn't get even. He gets better. 9. He doesn't flex the comeback. He becomes the proof. The glow up isn't for revenge. It's for resurrection. Sigma males don't post about their progress. They live it. He doesn't drop motivational quotes. He doesn't hint that he's grinding. He simply disappears into the shadows and comes back with results so undeniable, people can't pretend not to notice. His silence during the storm becomes his loudest announcement when the dust settles. People gossip, speculate, wonder where he went, and then suddenly they see him, transformed, elevated, unbothered. He doesn't owe anyone a breakdown, a comeback post, or an apology for thriving. The results speak, and they echo louder than the insults ever did. 10. He leaves rock bottom stronger than the ones who never fell. Comfort builds soft men. Collapse builds Sigma men. The Sigma doesn't envy the men who never fell. He pities them, because comfort doesn't sharpen character. Chaos does. Rock bottom exposed his weaknesses, but instead of hiding them, he faced them. Instead of breaking, he built. And now, when life tests him again, he won't blink. He's been hardened. He's been stretched. He's been broken and rebuilt on a blueprint no one can see because it was carved in solitude. While others crack under pressure, he thrives in it. Because rock bottom didn't just toughen his skin, it rewired his brain. And now he walks through fire not as a survivor, but as a storm. On a final note, the fall wasn't failure, it was the forge. The Sigma male doesn't just endure rock bottom. He mines gold from it. He builds in silence. He sharpens through suffering. And he rises without applause, without pity, without permission. He doesn't look back to prove a point. He looks forward to build a future. He doesn't demand understanding. He doesn't beg for closure. He simply elevates. Quietly, strategically, permanently. Because the Sigma male wasn't built in applause. He was built in adversity. And the deeper he sank, the higher he could rise. He doesn't just overcome, he outgrows, outlasts, and outbuilds. Rock bottom was never his enemy. It was the invitation to become unstoppable.